Welcome to Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta, and today I am here with an incredible woman who had such a splash in our mastermind months back that she literally changed the face of many websites just by her teachings. Today I'm joined with Jennifer Deep Stratton. Did I say that right?
Deep Stratton, you got it.
Deep Stratton, okay. And she is the CEO and founder of High Ticket Sales Success. She teaches coaches and experts and niche service providers how to get paid top dollar for their services and close big sales. Jennifer also has a knack for really breaking down this scary, intimidating sales topic into easily bite-sized nuggets. And I'm just really excited to have you here today, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here.
100%. So as you know, our community is a bunch of dog walkers and pet sitters. And oftentimes, our clients are worth $10,000 to $12,000 a year. And the one thing that I think we all struggle with is this whole pricing structure and strategy. And we struggle internally with, are we worth it? Or, oh no, they don't want to pay that, or they only want to know about cost. And I'm just going to dive right in here with you. You have this incredible thing called the quantum benefits. And I'd love for you to tell our listeners about that.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you want to raise your fee or charge more per client or get longer contracts. Sometimes it's not, charge more per client, but maybe you want to sign somebody on for a month instead of a day, or for a year instead of a week. Something starts to happen, which is people will say, oh, it's hard to sell because I hit price resistance, or we have our own internal resistance. Like, I'm not sure people have the money, or can I really charge that much? And for crying out loud, I'm just dog walking. Never say those words. Because it's so much more than, there's no just, it's not just anything. So one of the things that I like to teach is how to really see our own value at a higher level. So you can charge more, so you can communicate to other people why they should pay you more without feeling like you have to give more.
So, yeah, because that's one thing that we always feel like, well, if I'm going to do this, then I have to give more, or I have to offer more time, or I have to throw in something extra. I have to justify it somehow.
Right. And so if you're listening to this or watching, take a moment and think, if I were to double my prices, like Jennifer says, in an hour from now, you're going to go out, you're going to raise your fee, you're going to double your prices, and you're going to say to somebody, hey, this is how much it is now. What would you do?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be pretty exciting and maybe a little bit scary. And across the board, people say, well, I would try to figure out what would be worth charging double for. And that's totally fair. But in most cases, we try to double the amount of service we're giving or the amount of product we're giving. And so that doesn't really give us a raise. So I'm all about you getting paid.
Amen, sister. Amen. And it's funny. It's not funny. It's sad sometimes how much we don't pay attention to that bottom line, or everyone else might be getting paid, but we're not getting paid. So it's not also just about more. It's about managing that more, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I just did an event a couple weeks ago, or last week, and we were talking about, why should we get paid more?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of reasons, but a big one is people tend to value us more when we're charging more. And because they value what we're doing more, they tend to respect it more. They tend to take more action. They tend to be better customers. They tend to get better results from the work you do with them. And of course, on the sales side, or on the person who's delivering that service, we have more space to give freely because we've been paid well.
Right.
So we do better work. So there's lots of advantages. And, at last count, I think I saw it was $14 trillion in our economy here. It's probably more. But, you think there's plenty of money to go around. So how do I get some of it to rain on me? Well, and saying all that, we're not just about, one of the things that I'm really about is having entrepreneurs fill their business with high-paying clients who value what they do and who you love to work with, so that you can make a bigger difference. Because I mean, and I love talking about money, and I love talking about getting paid, and I love talking about sales. And I also love the fact that inside of all of that, it's about making a bigger difference, because we can do a lot when we're getting paid well to make a difference.
So I know that your own coaching and consulting company, you grew it in less than 2 years to a multiple six-figure, which is just incredible. But before you did that, you were you in like
biotech equipment?
Thank you. I knew it was something like that. And you always, part of your story I remember is you're always kind of wondering like why one was so much more expensive than the other, and how they were able to sell something that's basically the same thing but for more money. Like, can you tell us more about that and what you discovered?
Yeah. So before I started my own business, working with coaches and consultants and small business owners, I worked in corporate sales. So, and I worked with doctors and scientists. The last thing I sold in corporate was microscopes to research scientists.
Sexy.
Yeah. Well, and these were fancy machines, and but at the end of the day, a microscope is a microscope. They all make small things look bigger. And so how do you justify or sell something that costs more? So I always found myself working for the companies whose equipment or products were more expensive, like a lot more expensive than my competition. I remember going up head to head against a competitor whose equipment was 25% less than mine.
Oh, wow.
Okay, they weren't exactly the same thing, but that's like saying, this brand of white bread is not exactly the same as that brand of white bread. Like it's all bread. So like, it's not exactly the same, but is it worth 25% more? And in that industry, that's like 25, 40, 50, $100,000 different.
Yeah.
So I remember I would say to my boss, and this was when I first started, I would say, can I discount my pricing so I can be more competitive? And he would say to me, no. Just no, do your job. And my job was to sell value.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's our job as entrepreneurs is, look, there's a choice we all need to make. We're either going to sell on price or we're going to sell on value.
Yes, woman, preach it, girl.
So you just need to make a choice. Am I going to be somebody who sells on price?
Yep.
Or am I going to become somebody who sells on value? And of course, I have no hidden agenda here. I'm all about you learning how to sell on value, because I believe that selling on price is really a losing game. Because if you lower your price, then your competitor can lower their price, and then you lower your. It's a race to the bottom, right? We're all going lower and lower. And if I think about how I shop, and if you think about how you shop, have you ever bought something where you paid more? Like you didn't buy the cheapest one.
Yeah. 100%. My husband's always like that. In fact, he thinks, sometimes you do get a better value, but not always. And that is part of the sales process. Like he thinks that those designer shirts in the designer store in the mall are better than the ones that you could find at Target. And then I'll go to Ross or TJ Maxx and get him that designer shirt for way cheaper than it was in that store. And then he'll feel like he's wearing something of quality. You know what I mean? But it's something that we all do. So I love that point. And I think that relating that to our pet sitting companies, there's these the technology companies that are taking the world by storm. And I think it's good to embrace them, because I think they're really helping educate the world that there is this profession out there. But Rover and Wag, and their prices, or at least Rover's, are known to be very cheap. And pet sitters are saying, how can I compete with this app that has $40 billion of advertising? And it's like, take advantage of it, ride it, and go the opposite direction, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always found myself working for the smaller company with a better quality product.
Uh-huh.
And there's a place for you, because the service that you can provide, the personalization that you can provide, maybe you vet the people that you work for that work for you in a higher level. I think that a lot of people, the app is awesome, but you have things that are completely different and better than your competition. You just need to know what they are.
Right.
And then you tell everybody. in a really clear way so that they get it. It's like, oh, you know what I see? Sometimes there'll be like a Starbucks and across the street is a mom and pop coffee house. Like
Uh-huh.
literally across the street. Well, you know what happens? Like you're saying, people go by Starbucks because it draws the people, but then they see this other place, which is cuter and has flowers and other, it's a different feel or different
Yeah.
vibe. And they're doing great. They're doing
Yeah.
great. And they're across the street.
Yeah. So you brought up a really good point about you have to communicate it. You have to tell people it. And I want to tell a quick success story. And I just brought it up and he doesn't even know that I'm going to be bringing him up, but his name is Chad and he's out here in Peoria, Arizona. And he was in the mastermind when you came in and just did this really long presentation for us and just used it wasn't even him, it was someone else as a case study and really showed us how to do this on our website. And the reason why I love this mastermind that I have is because people actually do stuff. They don't just listen. So I'm challenging anyone that I'm in the ears of right now to take Jennifer's advice and run with it. And Chad did just this. And so Jennifer told us this very, in a good way, long story and broke it down, this quantum benefits that she talks about. And it's basically just about talking about this unique value, and you probably can explain it better than I can, about a unique value proposition that your business has and talking about it. And so many of us pet sitters have it, and we brainstormed during that training that you did with us, and Chad did it. So on his website, he did this thing called the Fab Five. And he said he's drawing attention to the fact that you can schedule 24 hours a day online. That he has a travel guarantee. That means if your flight's delayed, he's not going to stop coming and visiting your pet. That he has a pet parent connection, which means that they have an online scheduling like app where they talk to each other, and that there's HD pics and videos. Again, it's through that scheduling system, and that he has care without clocks, which is untimed visits. Now, I know that pet sitters listening right now are like, oh my God, I do all that. I do all that. I do all that. But nobody talks about it. They sell the industry as a whole. Like, pet sitters are good because your pet can stay at home. Well, that's great, but what about your business? And I just want to say thank you for having that impact. But can you also kind of take it a step further and explain to people why positioning your quantum benefits like this can warrant you doubling your rates?
Yes, absolutely. So quantum benefits is a process that I came up with. Really, I'd been doing it for my whole selling career, really. And then when I started coaching people more, I realized, oh, check out this process that I've been doing forever that actually works for entrepreneurs. So the best way I can explain it is, I want you to imagine that I've got a pile of toys in my living room. And I have 3 sons, so I often have a pile of toys. And I want you to imagine I take that pile of toys and I'm going to have a garage sale. So I put it out on my driveway. And I look at the pile of toys and I think, oh, it's probably worth about $200.
Uh-huh.
And then I do my quantum benefits process. And as I'm staring at this pile of toys, I see Legos. So I pull out all the Legos and I put them in a pile. And then I see dinosaurs. And I take all the dinosaurs and I put them in a pile. And then I see Hot Wheels cars. And I take out all the Hot Wheels cars and the flags and the tracks and I put them in a pile. And I keep going until I finally have 5 piles. Now,
Uh-huh.
because I'm having a garage sale, I have to price what I have. But I realize, this pile of Legos is probably worth $200 all by itself. When I think about the fun we've had, the 14 Star Wars ships that are all broken up in that pile, we have family night at our house and the older boys build stuff and the baby comes through and he wrecks it all. I mean, it's right. So this pile of Legos, once I see what it is worth $200 all day long.
Uh-huh.
Then I do the same thing with the dinosaurs and those are worth $200. And the
Uh-huh.
Hot Wheels car is $200. So I keep going until suddenly, instead of one pile that was worth $200, I've got 5 piles, each worth $200.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my value just went up from 200 to 1,000. Went up by 5 times. Now, but what did I not do? I didn't build anything. I didn't give any more time away. I didn't download instruction manuals. I didn't add anything to the pile. I just started to see the value in a more distinct way.
Yeah.
And that's what the quantum benefits process does. And this is something that you can do. You can start to write down the benefits that people get from working with you in individual, like take a piece of paper and fill up that whole piece of paper.
Yeah.
And what you'll see is that you probably have 5, 10, 20, 30 things that you give people as part of your service that right now you're not realizing is of benefit. And that's
just
because
like what Chad did, you know?
Totally. And that's because it's all lumped up in one big heap on your driveway. And so what I'm not saying is, I'm not saying that you should take your program or your service and break it into parts and charge for them individually. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't actually work that way. What I'm saying is, if you can take a cotton ball, the idea is like you have a cotton ball when it's brand new and then pull it apart until it's bigger and you can see the individual fibers. That's your benefits, and they're all in there.
Yeah.
And when you can start to put words around those individual strands, then you're going to increase. Yeah. You're going to start to increase the value without giving more stuff.
It's like, I remember I've actually never owned a Coach purse before. It's never appealed to me, but one of my roommates in my 20s did, and she was all obsessed with it. And one day she came home and we opened up the mail. I'm like, here, you have something from Coach. And she opened it up and it was a postcard from her bag that was being cleaned. Say it was at Coach camp being cleaned. And I was like, are you kidding me? But it was like this experience and this like tracking that they did to create this experience around this really expensive bag that at the end of the day, my TJ Maxx $29.99 bag did the same thing, but I didn't have a camp that it could go to go get cleaned. So it's funny, or a bag to carry my bag in. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's all of these like little things that you probably do, because I hear you talk. I'm talking about pet sitter right now. Like, I hear you guys online all day long talking about all this stuff that you do. And I wanted Jennifer on today to kind of just like push your mind a little bit to say, am I really talking about it? Am I really making it something that's worthy, that makes my brand that much more valuable, that I am worth it, truly?
Yeah. And can I give another tip?
Please.
Yeah. So here's the thing is, once you've put on paper all of the benefits that people get from working, and benefit is like, what is in it for them?
Yeah.
Like, is it peace of mind? Is it feeling like a good dog mom? Is it not having to find the phone number of the dog walker? You know, like, there's so many things that we do. A benefit is what's in it for them. It's a transformation. It's a benefit or an outcome, or some kind of result that people get. So you get that out. And then what you need to do is you need to start to put words, like really yummy, attention-getting words. And it can't be over the top, because if it's over the top, it sounds too salesy and mechanistic and kind of commercially. But it also can't be, I'm really great with your pet. Like, it doesn't give me enough. Like, okay, well, so you're great with my pet. Well, what does that mean? Well, you know what? I actually hired a pet sitter when we were out of town back in August. And this woman came over and she sat on the ground and started rubbing my dog's bellies. And they were licking her. And I'm like, oh, my dog's in good hands. So she's got to put some kind of words around not only what that is for the dog, but also what that is for me, right? It's like, oh, somebody that doesn't mind my dirty dog, like rolling on the ground and like she's petting it. And it was like she was dressed appropriately for somebody that's going to take my dog to the dog park, which is mostly dirt, right? Yeah. And this is like, she wasn't in like high heels and, it's just like, not the high, I mean, I love high heels, but not for the dog park, right? Yeah. So it was something very, like, there's words for that. And if you can get words to really convey the value, people will start to buy and they'll pay more. So let me give you an example. So in my business, I'm a sales trainer. I do sales coaching. I can help you get better at sales. You're like, oh, that sounds interesting. But that's not enough. I mean, it's enough maybe to open the door. But if I say to you, well, here's the thing, I can tell you what to say, when to say it, and how to say it so that your ideal clients can't wait to work with you and and say, yes, oh my gosh, where have you been my whole life? Okay, now you have a much clearer understanding of what it is that I can do than just the phrase sales trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So the specifics are terrific.
Yes. The devil's in the details.
So once you have your benefits, you want to start to say, okay, well, how do I talk about them in the most specific and intriguing language that I can?
I love it. I love it. So hopefully you guys are getting some ideas of how you can kind of take this real life, and I just feel like everyone thinks that sales is so sleazy, and they're really like afraid to ask for what they really want, because of all these self-limited feelings. And like you said, it's not about creating more to justify it. It's about articulating what you've already got and articulating it better than other people, better than, it's not just white bread. It's not just microscope. It's so much more than that. So Jennifer, if people want to reach out to you or follow you or watch your videos or anything like that, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay, well, the first thing is go get a downloadable copy of my book. It's free. It's highticketsellingbook.com.
Awesome.
So if you grab that, it's 9 secrets to increase your fees and magnetically attract top dollar clients. So grab it. It's highticketsellingbook.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
welcome.
Also your website too, right? High ticket sales or highticketsalessuccess.com.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my website. Yep. And you can find the book there too.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys liked this episode, I would love to hear what your takeaway was or your nugget. Go ahead and find out where you saw this posting and tag me, tag Jennifer. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was. If you liked the podcast, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you're daring enough, leave a review. I would love that. And remember, guys, when life gets you down, always keep jumping.